Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on Monday, August 10th, 2026. Right, so currently we have an area of high pressure over the country, and this is a ridge between a low to our northeast towards Scandinavia that brought a lot of rain to the north over the weekend, and a low to our west, which will stall against this area of high pressure. This high will push eastwards into Europe over the next few days, and that will allow the wind to turn into a more southerly direction, and we'll see heat starting to build day on day, generated by high pressure, the wind coming up from the south, strong sunshine, and the compression of the air. So currently we have a warm front pushing through northern regions. It's no more than a band of higher cloud. The rain-bearing part of the front is well to the west, well away from the west coast of Scotland still. Not even on radar. That will miss us entirely, virtually. And this part here, this trading part, this is the cold front. And it will likely bring some showery bursts across west and northern regions, and a few thunderstorms as well. But away from that area, very little, if anything. So staying dry, the drought goes on, and the heat wave starts tomorrow in some areas, and more widely on Wednesday. Some big storms across Spain, triggered by that intense heat dome that is, of course, over Spain and the Med into Italy, parts of France, and that has generated a heat low. And towards late summer, you can see increased thundery activity towards the Med. Okay, so that is the current picture. So moving on to the UKV. So UKV, again, we have some high cloud across the north, corresponding to a warm front that won't really bring much rain, if any. Some drizzle possible across the far western Isles, but overnight it's dry and clear, and quite fresh as well. But make the most of that, because it won't be fresh from here on out. Tomorrow, Tuesday, so we starts to see the temperature rising as the high pressure starts to slip to the east. So the winds start to drift up there from the south. You can see it there, south to southeast. So therefore, we import the higher temperatures from the continents. So tomorrow, Tuesday, I say widely into the mid-20s, high 20s Celsius, with loads of sunshine, some high cloud here and there, especially across more northern regions, and across parts of Western Ireland as well, some light showers, but really, overall, most areas will see a cracking day, to add to the collection of this long hot summer. Right, so overnight tomorrow, it will be a much milder, much warmer night, and quite muggy too. Dew points quite high in the west, so feeling sticky and oppressive. And showers start to move into western regions, and some look quite torrential actually, and some thunder can be expected from these, I think, as they push into parts of western and northern Ireland and into the far west of Scotland there by early hours of Wednesday morning. Some showers also across many areas of Ireland, but rather hit and miss. And these showers gradually push eastwards and northwards, so quite showery, some thundery downpours possible across the far west of Scotland, west of the Highlands especially, some scattered showers across Ireland's Irish Sea, maybe northern England, and also heavier showers across western and northern fringes of Ireland. Okay, so Tuesday, other than that, it will be another dry, hot and sunny. Wednesday. Wednesday, other than that, will be another dry, hot and sunny day. Some more downpours triggered by the heat later on across western and northern areas. These will be scattered, but if you get them, torrential downpours, gusty winds, lightning, all of that stuff, but really confined to western north and scattered hit and miss storms. So into Thursday again. Look at all that rain just passing, skirting off to our northwest, barely clipping the Western Isles and parts of Ireland there, Mayo, Galway. Other than that, dry, warm, muggy overnight into Thursday. And on Thursday, we'll see the peak of the heat wave You see many areas of Wales, England, southern Scotland, Eastern Ireland sunny, and baking hot on Thursday. I'll show you temperatures in a second, but mid to high 30s across a wide area of England there, across the eastern and central regions, even extending mid 30s and low 30s up into northern England. So really high temperatures Thursday, and some thunderstorms pushing into Western Ireland, Western Scotland, some big downpours there. And as always, with recent years, the showers and thunderstorms have always seemed to be across more western regions. Very few getting beyond these far western and northern regions. I think it's because of the lifting, the frontal lifting only really gets into these areas. It decays as it moves eastwards and southwards, and therefore the cap holds. That's my theory on it. And then into Friday, Friday sees the temperatures come down from their really towering peak. So still hot in the east, but much fresher in the west. Some cloud and showers. Saturday will be a pleasant day across most of England and Wales. Temperatures right back into the mid 20 Celsius, but still warm, obviously, in the sunshine. Cloudy in the west and north. Some showers coming through on what will be a gentle northwesterly breeze. I want to go back though to Wednesday evening because that will be the time of the solar eclipse. So maximum about 7 p.m. DST, BST, and IST. So that means 18 GMT or 18 Zulu time, 18 Z. The latest UKV. So best viewing, as we have established, and as you might guess from any day, if you had to guess the best viewing of any solar eclipse on any day of the year at any time, you would always guess the south. And in this case, well, yes, you'd be correct. So many areas of Wales, Midlands of England, down into southern and eastern England, dry, cracking, plenty of sunshine. A few A-cast clouds maybe across Midlands, but there'll be plenty of gaps in between them. So good viewing there, spectacular viewing. Northern England, parts of Ireland, so you got some higher cloud there, a few little light showers across Northern England, but again some gaps in the cloud, and this sort of cloud should be thin enough to allow the solar disk to be visible through the cloud layer. Obviously wear your glasses or have your pinholes ready to go. And then in Western Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, the cloud base can be lower and thicker. So again, if you had to guess a location anywhere within Ireland and the UK on any day of the year where you would have the lowest chances of seeing a solar eclipse properly, you'd always guess areas further west and north, and in this case, you'd be correct. Yes, unfortunately, these areas that I mentioned, lower cloud cover, thicker cloud as well, more overcast skies, cloud breaks will be scarce across these regions on Wednesday evening from this current UKV run. Right, so moving on to the temperatures. So today was fresher with a more northerly influence as a high pressure shifted to the west behind the cold front that came through yesterday. Very little rain in the south. Again, some rain in the north over the weekend. And then tonight it'll be fresh because you see temperatures tonight dropping down to around widely in Ireland, Wales, Northern England, Scotland, below 10 degrees. Elsewhere, get into the low teens, but still, much fresher than it will be later on. A pocket of higher temperatures there across the south. Into Tuesday, higher temperatures, you see the rising. So many areas of Ireland even 20 to up to 25 degrees. That is in the mid 20 Celsius across eastern areas. Much of England and Wales, mid to high 20 Celsius. A localised corridor, Somerset up through Bristol, Gloucestershire, West Midlands, up the M6 towards Manchester. Could be having the very high 20s there, or scraping 30 Celsius, but widely very warm day. Even up into Scotland, the warmth is starting to build there. So low 20s in the south of Scotland there. A bit patchy across central and northern Scotland, but basically cooler temperatures there, being made out there by the highlands. In the valleys and shelter, pleasant in the sunshine. Right, so moving on to... Actually, sorry, that wasn't even the peak of temperature. So the peak actually comes a bit later on. I stopped a bit too early. So peak is actually here. So I think a good area of the West Midlands there, into the southwest of England, near Gloucester, and possibly even back towards the M4, and up towards Manchester. Yeah, 30 degrees is quite feasible. And then into tomorrow night, into Wednesday, you can see temperatures are much higher. Coolest and freshest inland across England and Wales and Scotland. But Ireland is starting to rise, not falling below 16 or 17, 18 or 19 and 20 in Kerry. Dew points will be very mild and muggy and very humid in the western areas as well, especially. So it will be a muggy old night for sleeping. Right, so Wednesday itself, it'll be a hotter day. I'll run to about 3 p.m, 4 p.m, so get high temperature. So Ireland, low 20s in the north, up to the high 20s in the southeast and Midlands. So really hot, hotter across England and Wales. Wales, even on the coast, and extending back towards Midlands, down towards southwest England, Cornwall, Devon. South coast a bit less hot. Central southern England, eastern England, away from the east of East Anglia, up towards Yorkshire, up towards south of Northumberland there, like 30 to 35 degrees. Hottest core near Gloucester in the southwest towards Bristol, southeast Wales area. Northern England, Scotland, low to mid 20 Celsius, warmest in the east, and in shelter. And then overnight into Thursday, a very oppressive and hot night. Lowest temperatures, because many areas of actually England and Wales not getting below 20 degrees. That'd be a tropical night. Ireland very warm, Scotland very warm across the board. Dew points there, actually quite low across Wales and parts of England there, so maybe not feeling as bad as it could. Obviously a minimum of what we just saw, like the high teens and low 20s, will be very uncomfortable anyway, but at least it won't be overly oppressively humid. But across the west it will be. In Ireland, parts of Scotland, those overnight lows will come with very high dew points, and therefore the mugginess will feel especially uncomfortable there heading into Thursday morning. Thursday, as I said, will be the peak of the heat wave. There's this angry, menacing core of very high temperatures. So East Wales, Central England, Midlands, Southern England, East Anglia, South East England, London area, up towards Northumberland again. 30 to 37 degrees, core of the heat across eastern parts of Midlands, eastern England, down towards London and the home counties. This broader zone here. Cambridgeshire is in that as well. So really hot. And then Ireland, you can see again low 20s in Connacht, but elsewhere just go inland, south and east, mid 20s, high 20s. Same really for Scotland. Dew points for Thursday really quite low in the dry air in the east of the hot air, the continental air, but the temperatures, no matter what sort of dew point you have, will feel hot, but muggy as well in the west, especially across Ireland and parts of the west here, where temperatures are getting into really quite high up into the 20s Celsius in Scotland as well. It will feel quite oppressive in the sense that it's sticky, while it's just purely baking hot across England there. So beyond that then, so we see a slow cool down to Friday. Ireland turns fresh and notice that, but across England and Wales is still bathed in those very high temperatures, and it will be a muggy night as the highest dew points start to shift eastwards too. And then going for Friday's temperatures, well, Friday very hot still across central England down towards the southeast. 30 temperatures above 30 degrees can be expected there in Suffolk, towards the London and home counties, towards Kent maybe. Midlands, high 20s. Wales, cooling down. Northern England as well. Ireland, cooling down definitely. Scotland, yeah, really cool. And I'm glad because I'm flying over that evening to Birmingham. Thank God for that. Good timing. Because I'd have melted in that scorcher for Thursday. And then Friday night, well, look at that. Still got the southeast holding on to really high temperatures and higher dew points into the early hours of Saturday morning. Just clinging on there, but we're clearing it through. It's being shunted away into the continents. And Saturday is a much more sensible day. I think the top temperature likely to be around in the mid to high 20s Celsius there across the far south of England. Much more comfortable across the board on Saturday. So yeah, that is the story with the coming heat wave. Right, so this is the UKV, and it's not the UKV, it's the GFS. Guys, so excuse me. High pressure has relocated to over us and to our west. Around that, something just a bit fresher has come behind the cold front, so hence the upper air temperatures have cooled a bit. Then heading beyond tomorrow heading beyond today into Tuesday, high pressure goes eastwards, and around that we're bringing the wind up from an easterly or southeasterly direction, so temperatures rise sharply. This low pressure, with its weather front, starts to grind to a halt and slide away to the northeast, avoiding the high pressure and the heat dome. We see a little trough coming through here, some showers into the west through Wednesday and Thursday, but very scattered. Some thundery downpours, yes, but very scattered, and none getting beyond Scotland and Northern Ireland. Into Friday, so we see the cooler air come through. There's almost like slips back to the southwest, low pressure towards northeast, so we see a less hot wind from the northwest. So the upper temperatures there on Thursday look really, really hot especially across central and eastern England, delivering those extremely high temperatures. But you see cooler winds are starting to dig in there from the northwest, well, less hot winds anyway, but definitely cooling things down to a much more comfortable level by next Saturday, compared with the brutal heat wave of Thursday. Then beyond that, things are a bit flabby, a bit showery, I think. There before high pressure comes back in force by the 17th of June, so back to really warm to hot and dry weather. Beyond that, towards the 20th of June of August, I think I'm getting my brain's a bit. It's kind of late, guys. I said June early, didn't I? I meant August. God, time has really caught up to me these past few days. It was June not long ago, now it's August, and suddenly it's like I'm getting my results in 11 days. Okay, right. So moving on. Right, high pressure to the south on August 21st. My results day. So we see a nice day for that, and then beyond that we go into a more westerly spell, but still fundamentally high pressure is reaching into the south. Dry there, not a drop of rain. Any rain with this low pressure will be in the north and in Scotland. And then, yeah, fundamentally, south stays dry until Wednesday, August 26th. These high is never releasing its grip. Low pressure, yes, deepening towards northwest, yes, but rain with that into Scotland. And look at that, yeah, not a drop in the south. Not at all. So, yeah. Bit there on the 20th, but yeah, what's the hope of that? Here's the ECM. Once again, high pressure starting to slip eastwards over tomorrow and Wednesday. We draw up the wind from a very hot south to southeasterly wind across a baking hot continent. By Thursday, peak of the heat, low pressure towards Iceland, starting to slip northwards as it faces friction from the block. And the peak of the heat is there, so upper temperatures not quite as extreme as the GFS, but still 15 to about 18 Celsius at 850 HPA on Thursday. So yes, temperatures well into the low or mid 30 Celsius. Little trough in the west So showers in the west and north, some thundery downpours are quite likely as well, but they'll be scattered and minimal. And beyond that, over the weekend, high pressure pulls out to the southwest again. So you see something a bit less hot coming around the high pressure like that. Upper temperatures do cool down quite a bit. Before low pressure comes through by next Sunday and Monday, I'm dubious about that, especially as it goes on the southerly track. And ECM wants to go things more westerly by the 20th. Not sure about that. We've seen the lows that track southwards, like the low around this 1st, 2nd and 3rd of August was meant to track at first into France and the Channel, and the south was meant to have the highest chance of rain, but then since then that's been pushed northwards and the south got nothing, or virtually nothing, only a few showers. Here's the UK Met run. Again, high pressure over throughout east, increasingly pushing eastwards through next week, and that opens the door to a very very hot. This heat dome is allowed to come back northwards, southerly to southeasterly wind, low pressure to the northwest. Some showers will form in the west and northwest, some thundery downpours, and big storms possible, I think, especially in Scotland, but those will be reserved for the far northwest, eastern Scotland, into parts of Ireland, northern England, Wales, England staying dry. And then we clear things through, things are cloudier and a bit cooler on Friday before we go into a pleasant Saturday. Beyond that, well, the UK Met actually spawns an area of low pressure over us, and that might even bring some rain across Kent, dare I say it, if it does, if it verifies on the UK Met run. No guarantee. It is 7 days away, and how many times through the summer have we seen rainfall for, in the time frame of a week on the models, and then we get a bit closer and it disappears and goes north. GEM. Once again, we watch high pressure moving eastwards over the next few days. By August 12th, we have high pressure over Germany. Winds really from a really hot direction, a searing hot direction. By Thursday, upper air temperatures with the GEM are very hot. We almost get the plus 20 Celsius ice them in. We don't make it. I think get to about plus 18 or 19 Celsius across parts of southeast England, but that's enough to bring temperatures up into the mid 30 Celsius. Low pressure brings a few thundery downpours into the northwest, and then we clear things through. Very little thunder, despite a trough coming through. Notice we do have a kink in the isobars, but very little in the way of thunderstorms. Just a band of cloud coming through, really, across most areas. With that, Brittany's seen a lot of dark colours up here, but they don't make it beyond the northwest. It's quite an interesting characteristic of recent thundery breakdowns. They've been really reserved across the northwest. I've been around only 18 years, but I've heard from people who are older than me that way back when, a few years ago, before my time, thundery breakdowns across Ireland and the UK were often really quite dramatic across all areas. You see it most areas seeing a good coverage of impressive thunderstorms. So yeah, something's changed. And my theory is just the lift is not as strong across the south, or the cap just holds more strongly because you've got higher temperatures and not enough gradient or not enough mixing of air. Right, so moving on into mid-August, so low pressure goes to the south, into Europe. Haven't seen that in a while. And generally quite a bit more mobile into August 18th and 19th there. Azores High is still never that far away, and is it making another go by the 20th? It might well be. Right, so here's the icon. High pressure once again is shifting eastwards to allow up a hot southerly airflow. Upper air temperatures on Thursday, August 13th are very hot. We just about nudged the plus 20 Celsius ice therm onto the south coast of England. Very, very hot air in play. And then we go beyond that. Again, low pressure, a trough comes through, but I suspect there's very little thunder away from the northwest, and that is correct. And let's go. And Icon again spawns an area of low pressure to our west, rolls it in. It would bring rain even to the south, but there's no guarantee that it will verify. And by the 18th, well, there's quite a deep feature waiting to our northwest. But it might go northeast and miss us, just bring rain to Scotland, or it might come this way and bring some rain to wider areas. Still, high pressure is strong to the south. Finally, the arpege. High pressure again to the east, slipping away, allowing opening the door to these hot southerly winds. Upper air temperatures on the 13th of August are really hot. The plus 15 ice storm is getting up towards eastern Scotland, so that's really hot. How many times I have said hot in this video? I'll change it up. It'd be really oppressive. And then beyond that, again, clearing the heat through on Friday, and then we look dry and pleasant by Saturday. Will low pressure to our west finally break through by next Sunday and Monday? Wait and see. But if we had to rely on the sun pattern as a whole to try and make an inference, you would be inclined to say no. But you must remember that at some point this pattern must break. It can't last forever, this pattern. It will break at some point. At some point the Atlantic will break through. And when it does, it probably won't stop. So we'll see a deluge setting up. And with an El Nino, a Super Nino, well, they tend to favour really wet autumns and early parts of winters, and very mild as well. So I won't be surprised if we get to December and we're complaining about flooding rains. So we'll see what happens. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye for now.